to rule in Badami by about 543 CE onwards. And they next ruled almost up to 200 plus years. Up to 757 CE, they were ruling. In between, we also have Pallava intervention. From 644 to 753, we have a Pallava intervention where Pulakeshi appeared to have been killed in a war. That's what the historians identify. Anyway, immediately after the death of Pulakeshi II, his son Vikramaditya I regains the control of the capital and he began to expand the kingdom. So these are the few historical consequences. But later on, Kirtivarma II, Vikramaditya II, they all went up to Kanchipuram, fought, and of course, especially during the Vikramaditya II, they defeated Kanchipuram's Nandivarma and engraved an inscription in the Kailashanatha temple, on the pillar of the Kailashanatha temple. And it is a fact. It is a fact. We have to accept all the facts. So with this historical consequences, let us try to understand the Chalukyan art in two segments. Number one, Chalukyas were responsible for excavating as many as 7 important rock cut temples. I repeat, 7 important rock cut temples. And they were responsible for over 400-500 temples, including Alampur in Andhra Pradesh. And of course, there are a couple of places in Andhra Pradesh. Sonduru near Bellary. And of course, Patadakallu, Mahakuta, Aihole, and Badami itself. So now let us try to go to a kind of a brief about the pre-Chalukya. Always, you know, in history of art, there is a theory. No art cannot appear on its own at one point. It should have a precursor. It should have a strong influence. So in 1990s, Sannati excavation, Sannati in Gulbarga district, has contributed Ashoka's portrait, inscriptions, and huge stupa, followed by the Kadambas of Banavasi, who also began to patronize the Vedic religion, and there begins the change of the religious adaptation in Karnataka region. These are the common phenomena everywhere in the country. It's not just Karnataka. See, when Hindu sculptures were began to create in Karnataka, the Guptas did simultaneously, Vakatakas did simultaneously, Vishnu Kundis in Andhra Pradesh did simultaneously. Like that, we can see a mass understanding or mass adaptation of the religious changeability in entire country. So quickly, let us see a couple of slides. Yeah, there is some, yeah, this is the map showing the Chalukyan Empire. Here is the portrait of Ashoka, quickly giving you a background so that it becomes easy to you. It is written Raya Asakaha, Rajnya Ashokaha, first ever inscribed portrait of Ashoka in the entire country. This is the stupa. Yeah, there are narrative phrases, Manusha Buddha. Yeah, this is the full image of Ashoka with his wife. Yeah, now let us go to Gokarna. I trust many of you might have visited Gokarna. Professor Sundara identified this sculpture as early as in 1970s as one of the earliest examples of the Kadamba specimen. Unfortunately, till 90s, No scholar except Professor Sundara ever attempted to study the reconstruct the pre-Chalukyan art history of southern part of India in general and in specifically Karnataka. So I started my research looking at the pre-Chalukyan material because iconography, when it comes to iconography, always we feel where do they derive all such a complex iconographical details? Because when Chalukyan artists began to carve, no ancient Shilpa texts were existing. They have to depend on the agamas, whether it's a Shaiva agama, whatever the suitable agama, it would be useful to them. So you can see the two-armed Ganesha, and these examples become precursor to the Badami Chalukyas also. Yeah, you can see Harihara and Vishnu. Harihara image is again from Gokarna. This is in Banavasi Museum. Yeah, Vishnu. See the beauty of Devi sculptures. All these images are going to repeat in the form of iconographical stylistic influence to the Badami Chalukyan artists. This is a zoomorphic Narasimha, sorry, zoanthropomorphic Narasimha. Now we come to specifically chronology of the Chalukyas. You can see the details of the ruling reign of the kings. I have highlighted Mangalesha's reign with the red letters. See, the historians sketched him as a villain of the Badami Chalukyan history. Mangalesha was actually hero of the Badami art activity. If Mangalesha would not have taken any activities in Badami, probably all the cave temples might not have existed today. See, in the year, yeah, this is a Google Mama picture, aerial view. And this is my picture from the cave temple, Agastya Tirtha. The myth also takes us back to the Agastya Muni visiting and Vatapi and Ilvala being subdued by the Muni. And those are the popular stories we all hear when we go there. The guides will, even if you don't want, they will tell you. Okay. Cave number 1 is dedicated to Shiva. The sculptures are though only 3 or 4 important ones, but they are no inferior from the point of their importance. Nataraja on the extended wall of the cave 1 has 18 arms. 18 arms, believe me, this is the only sculpture in the entire country of Nataraja with 18 arms. The texts, later texts, prescribe only 16 arms, highest 16 arms to the Nataraja. See, all the arms are arranged in an architectonic manner. Each one create an individual mudra when they looked on a cross-section basis. Yeah, this is a general view. You have to climb. And chronologically, cave number 1 is the earliest, probably started by Pulakeshi I or probably or by his son Kirtivarma. Kirtivarma was a ruling prince, ruling king, while Mangalesha was a Yuvaraja. Later on, Mangalesha himself becomes the king. This is another angle of the cave. Yeah. Yeah. See, once we enter into the veranda, on left hand and right hand side, we have 2 important sculptures, unique sculptures. We have Harihara here. Harihara with his wives. Hari with Lakshmi, Hara with Parvati. Also their vehicles, as if they are posing for some good family photograph. Again, I insist, this is also first time in the history of Indian art appears for the first time in the Badami cave number 1. Not in Ellora, not in Elephanta, or even in the Tamil country also. This is the only example. Of course, later on, the Hoysalas adopt this typology. Yeah. Ardhanari, Veenadhara Shiva. And you can notice Nandivahana Shiva in the corner here and Dwarapala. It's a more close-up view. It's a more close-up view. You can enjoy the beauty of image. Ganesha is dancing in tune with sculpture. His younger brother playing the drums. And the wedding of Shiva and Parvati, popularly known as Girija Kalyana, also appears first time in Deccan, in Badami. It is in the interior lintels. So these are the earliest examples of Kumara, and then Mahishamardini and Ganesha. Now you can recall the Banamasi Kadamba sculptures which I just showed you. One from Jambehalli, as well as the Ganesha from Gokarna, though that was a standing, whereas it is here, but only two-armed Ganesha. The ceiling, see, when cave temples were excavated, the architect had a wonderful grammar about the excavation of every detail of the architecture. And he would have decided what sculpture has to come where, how it has to be implemented. All such things are planned well in advance, and they were executed with the assistance of the fellow sculptors. We have Nagaraja and also Vidyadhara Gandharvas. Okay, we can also notice Vishnu and also again Naga. So we go to cave number 2. Cave number 2 is comparatively a small cave in Badami, which has two iconic sculptures of Varaha as well as Trivikrama. But interestingly, here is a sculpture of Lakulisha. Those who are aware of how Lakulisha would be, Lakulisha is always naked. He is a follower of the Pashupata Shaiva Siddhanta, and it has reached Karnataka as early as about 4th century CE. Later on, of course, we have Natha Sampradaya, and we also have Kalamukas. You can notice the Vamana Trivikrama, the way other day in Hoysala sculptures also we have seen how Vamana Trivikrama was narrated in two sculptures, two panels. But whereas here, it is a syncretized in one big panel. Whereas Vamana receiving the all, the moment he received, he enlarges himself. He was trying to pull down by the soldiers of Bali. So these are the, first time visualized by the artists. You have to understand these were carved almost 1000 years before the later Chalukyas or Hoysalas. Yeah, Varaha. You can also see the ceiling. Varaha rescuing Bhudevi. And you can also notice Naga and Naga Queen, who represents the water. Yeah, ceilings again. You can see how beautifully Matsya Yantra, Matsya Chakra has been carved. Swastika has been adopted to carve the decorate the ceiling. So cave 3 is a magnum opus of the entire South Indian or entire Deccan art. It was completed in the year 578. It was completed in the year 578. The Mangalesha is the master of this cave temple. It is categorically mentioned the year of Shaka Varsheshu Panchashateshu. It means Shaka year 500. That corroborated with the 578. But nevertheless, he claimed himself He gave the entire credit to his elder brother, Kirtivarma. This is the veranda where we have Kevala Narasimha, that is standing Narasimha, and the seated Mahavishnu. Look at the way the images are designed and imagined by the architects, sculptors. See, when these sculptures were carved, probably texts were not crystallized as such. No texts. All scholars agree to it. They all accept that all the sculptures were rather conceived, imagined, experimented, and implemented at Badami Chalukya sites. Yeah, you can notice the way minute details, like Garuda is sitting. He is leaning back. He is leaning back to the scale. Reddy Garu, can you hear me? Hello.
I can hear you, sir.
Just hold on for a while. I'm just getting a call. It's getting disturbed. I'll just mute it.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So look at the way the Garuda is represented. See, no ancient Indian iconography texts ever prescribe an artist to carve Garuda like this. Always Garuda has to be very humble, very submissive, and he should have bhaya bhakti towards his Lord. But whereas here, he is lavishly enjoying the smooth scale of the serpent body, as if it is a cushion-like thing. He is relaxing. When God has no job, so as usual, he will be relaxing. God would also be relaxing, and his vehicle would also be relaxing. These are the unique features of the Badami Chalukyan art. Yeah, you can notice the Kevala Narasimha as well as Harihara. Yeah, Trivikrama, Vamana Trivikrama, again is one of the largest so far known in the entire southern part of India. It's almost about 14 feet tall image, but unfortunately, Vamana's sculpture has been destroyed few centuries ago probably. But now interesting fact about the Badami Chalukya is they have not left any space for the others to experiment probably later on. Or they always wanted to be precursor for everything. See, look at the Mithuna sculpture. You can identify this. It's not just ordinary Mithuna. This is Shiva and Parvati. If you can carefully observe, Parvati is drunk and Shiva is trying to lift her up. Parvati is drunk. Here is a picture. And he is holding her. Look at her leg. Literally, she is crawling. See, these are the Bacchanalian themes commonly found in ancient Indian art. But to make them popular in the contemporary society, then artists of Badami Chalukya used the divinities to narrate such subjects. Yeah, you can quickly, we'll see quickly. Yeah, Kama and Rati and Garuda. And it is carved by a sculptor called Nelavarke. Now this is the last cave temple at Badami, cave 4, dedicated to probably carved around 580-85 CE. There are two primary sculptures. One is Parshvanatha Tirthankara and another is Bahubali. Again, I reiterate, this Bahubali image is the first ever creation in entire southern part of country. Even before almost about say 500 years before our Shravanbelagola image. Now we quickly go to Aihole. I will finish Aihole cave temple. Then quickly I will shift on to the structural temple so that you will have one general idea about how cave temples developed. See, Aihole was known as Aryapura. It was a center of the mercantile community. If you read the medieval inscriptions, all inscriptions of the Rashtrakuta or even later Chalukya ascribe about the Ayyavale Ainurvar. Ayyavale Ainurvar, a guild with a 500 probably membership or kind of a consortium. This Ravanfadi cave temple is dedicated to Shiva. Unlike the large cave temple of Badami, it is a very moderate, small, because the rock itself is small. See the interior. We have Nataraja in the lower slide. There are also the ladies in a dancing posture who are Saptamatrikas. See, I have named them, all the Saptamatrikas, all 7 mothers flank the Shiva family. Shiva along with Parvati, Shiva as a Nataraja, and we also have Ganesha and Skanda. Skanda's face is defaced, but otherwise Brahmani, Maheshwari, Kaumari, Vaishnavi, then followed by Parvati, Ganesha, Skanda, then Varahi, Indrani, and Chanda. Yeah, Maheshamardini as well as Varaha. And Ardhanari, and this sculpture is again a very important from the point of Indian iconography, because usually we don't know when exactly the Gangavatarana sculpture began to appear, because we have a lot of stories connected with the Gangavatarana, but we don't know where exactly, when exactly Gangavatarana or penance of Bhagirath represented in visual form. This is the representation of the Gangavatarana. Bhagirath standing, and Shiva is releasing water by squeezing the airlock. It is the most imaginative work, never before appeared, and later on it was adopted by almost everyone. Like a Kanchipuram, plenty of sculptures are there. The Cholas also adopted this typology. This is a Buddhist cave. Chalukyas patronized equally all the religion, Jainism, Buddhism, as well as the Hinduism. This is the Dhyani Buddha and also the Buddha here. Yeah, it's a Jain cave. You can see the interior quickly. Now, I will open the temple architecture presentation. Yeah, screen is visible to all?
Yes,
visible?
sir.
Okay.
Visible.
Okay. See, we have 20 plus minutes time. At least we can see some 30 slides of Badami Chalukya temples. Okay. The Chalukya temples are once again the precursor for the Dravidian architecture in southern part of the India. They established their own school, popularly identified as Karnata Dravida style. Even for Nagara also, they introduced Nagara for the first time in the entire Deccan. So, when it comes to Aihole, Aivada is called as the laboratory of Indian architecture, but whereas Pattadakal called as the laboratory of Indian matured sculptural art. So quickly, how tower is developing in a rudimentary style. It is not completely matured Dravidian style. When you say Dravidian style, it should have Kuta, Shalakuta, Panjara, and also Stupi, Amrita Kalasha. So they should be repeating. Yeah, this is a front view. Chalukya temples have two varieties. Some of them are Sandhara temples. They have circumambulation all around the Garbhagriha. Some are Nirandhara. The one we are seeing here is a Sandhara. You can see the circumambulation all around the Garbhagriha. Okay. These are the three primary sculptures on the wall. Kalinga Damana, Krishna Govardhana, and Ugra Narasimha. See, these forms began to develop as independent entities in the entire Deccan. There are also narrative sculptures, birth scene of Krishna, as well as the Ramayana narratives. This is probably first ever Ganapati temple in the entire Chalukyan history. Professor Sundara identified it as a Ganapatya temple. You can notice the Pitha, which is an oval shape. So usually Ganesha with a oval shaped belly would fit into this particular Pitha. Yeah. Now we go to Malagitti Shivalaya. Malagitti Shivalaya in Badami is considered as the first ever matured Dravida temple in the Badami Chalukyan history. Probably it was constructed by Pulakeshi II. We don't know, we don't have any evidence about it. But architect Aryamanchi Upadhyaya's name is engraved here. So based on the paleography of the script, scholars have identified this must have been carved around or built around in between 600 and 640 CE. Usually, majority of the Chalukya temples are called by the local names, like Upper Shivalaya or Malagitti Shivalaya, Lord Khan temple, like that. It is actually dedicated to Surya. See the plan, elevation, as well as the facade of the temple. I think something wrong.
Sir, share ಮಾಡಿ sir slide.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
ನೀವು ಇದು F5 ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಶೋ
ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಶೋ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ ಸರ್.
ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ. ಈಗ ಆಯ್ತಾ?
ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಶೋ ಇನ್ನೂ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ.
ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ. ಯಾಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು? ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಹಳೆಯದೇ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಫೈಲು.
ಹೌದಾ? ಎರಡೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ?
ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿ
ಓಕೆ
ಅದನ್ನ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೇನೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಫೈಲ್ನ. ಸೊ ದಟ್
ಸರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶೇರ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಹಾಗೂ.
ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಮಾಡಿ. ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶೇರ್ ಕೊಡಿ. ನಾನು
ಓಪನ್ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ ಸರ್, ಮಾಡಿ.
ಹಾ, ಎಸ್. ಬಂತಲ್ವಾ ಇವಾಗ?
ಹಾ, ಈಗ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ, ಸಾರಿ. Okay, you can see the upper portion of the Malagitti Shivalaya. I told you this temple is dedicated to Aditya, sun god or sun cult. Aditya cult entered in Karnataka with the advent of the Pulikeshi II. Pulikeshi defeated Mangalesha, and later on he went on to become king around 609. But after that, he went to northern expedition, and probably he was greatly inspired by the Surya cult. And his children's name were also then ended with the Aditya only. Vikramaditya, Udayaditya, Chandraditya, like that. See the Shiva as well as the Vishnu. And these two Dwarapalas are identified as the Surya Dwarapalas. This is Danda and this is Pingala. Danda always holds a stick in the hand like a sword, and Pingala always holds a ink pot and pen. Yeah, Bhutanatha temple. We quickly go to Aihole. Aihole, Aryapura has all variety of the temples. It has flat roofed temple, it has Nagara temple, it has Kadamba Nagara temple, it has Dravida temple. Nearly about 120-30 temples are there. Most of them are in a better preserved condition, even today also. Only thing, we need to spend at least 2 to 3 days to visit all the monuments. This is Malagitti Meguti Jain temple, built in the year 634-35 CE by commander as well as the poet Ravi Kirti. Aihole Ravi Kirti Shasana is one of the very important historical evidence for the Indian historiography. First time it gives the year of the completion of Mahabharata war and also Shaka year, both. So 3567, something like that, when this inscription was engraved. He himself was a great poet, and he composes the inscription and records. So many thousand years have already completed after the war of Mahabharata. And he also mentions, with a due respect to Kalidasa, Bharavi and Dandi. These three names, the date of these three great literary people also can be decided based on this inscriptional evidences. Yeah, now we go to Durga temple. See, when we temple, again it's not dedicated to Durga Devi. It is in the fort area. That's why it is called Durga temple. Otherwise, it is dedicated to Aditya again. It is an upsidal structure, Gajaprushtakara Devalaya. Majority of the coastal temples in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu Andhra Pradesh, and also in Kerala have the Gajaprushta as a very common feature developed in the architectural styles. We have example in Nagarjunakonda as early as about 3rd century CE. And near Sholapur, there is a place called Ter. That is also a Shatavahana temple dedicated to Trivikrama, dating to around 3rd, 4th century CE. So the Chalukyas adopted the Gajaprushta style and also experimented with the Nagara Shikhara. You can see the Gavakshas and also Karnamlakas. See the details. You can compare the plan. This is the elevation, ground, and this is the cave temple. The Chaitya cave ground plan comparison with the Chaitya architecture. Yeah, the sculptures carved in the first gallery are absolute beauty. No compromise in uttering any word which is aesthetically superlative. They are highly refined, highly sophisticated, and most matured. See, Varaha, then Garuda Rudha Vishnu. If you carefully observe, Vishnu is about to sit on the back of Garuda. Garuda holds his Kativastra or Vaijayanta, pulls him down, asks him, come on, wait, I'm not yet ready. Just wait for give me some breathing period. So, see, these are the minute puns that the sculptors used to use. Yeah, this is Ashtabhuja Swami, Kevala Narasimha. Ashtabhuja Swami is also identified as the Virata Vishnu. Look at Durga Mahishamardini, Vrashabhavahana Shiva, and there are plenty of sculptures carved on the pillars of the portico and gallery. They are Mithunas, they are Ardhanari, there is a Ugra Narasimha, and whatnot. You have everything, every package, and artist names is also referred, like Surendra Pada. Now we go to Ladakhan temple, popularly known as Ladakhan, again dedicated to Aditya. I repeat, this temple was originally dedicated to Aditya, and later on it has been done reattributed. So the historians, art historians, architectural historians like Henry Cousins, Percy Brown, they all wrote about this temple was probably built around 450 CE because it has a cave-like feature in the interior, and that's why it should be dated to as early as early 5th century, mid 5th century. But unfortunately, Chalukya dynasty was not at all there in either in Badami or in Aihole. So who built it? Kadambas probably have never built any stone temples. We don't have any evidences to say. So that's why the inscription, based on inscription, this temple has been attributed to around 700 CE. Here is an inscription. You can see the cursor here. There is an inscription mentioning the Bennama Somayaji. Yeah, this is the side plan elevation, and this is the emblem of the Varaha Lanchana. Varaha, Shankha, Chakra, and mirror held by sword. This is the emblem of the Badami Chalukyas. You can see there is a upper structure for this temple. So they have created a provision to climb up with a stone ladder. Now we can't try there because it is closed. Some children would climb and jump from the top, and somebody fractured a few couple of decades ago, and then onwards they have closed it permanently for everyone. Yeah, these are the sculptures. See, the stone quality in Aihole as well as Pattadakal is not very, very good. It is a sandstone. It is bound to weather as per the climatic condition. Because of the salty wind we have in the summer, it will weather. It will eat the upper layers of the stones gradually. But of course, they are looking very beautiful even in spite of whatever the condition they are preserved today. Yeah, this is Huchamalli Gudi, one of the early pure Nagara examples in Aihole. See, the contribution of Chalukyas is this portion along with the Nagara Shikara. This is called Sukanashi. Later on, it became highly grand during the Rashtrakuta, Kalyana Chalukya, and even during the Hoysalas. So they began to introduce the Shukanasi sculpture on as part of the Shikhara, and it continued by almost their successors. See, this is Skanda about to kill the Tarakasura. This is a narrative sculpture of the war narrative of Skanda about to kill the Tarakasura. There is another temple called Huchapaya Matha, and you can see quickly the sculptures. And the beauty of Aihole temples is about the the ceiling sculptures. They are exceptionally beautiful. They have variety of the stylistic references. So now I quickly go to Pattadakal to show a few slides of Virupaksha. Yeah, this is quickly Mahakuta. Mahakuta temple was probably built by Mangalesha in the year 596 CE. There is a Pushkarani, popularly known as Vishnu Pushkarani, and some of the sculptures are so beautiful. You can have a look at Ravana lifting Kailash, Ravana penanceing, Ravana cutting his head and offering to Shiva. This is Mahabharata, where Abhimanyu was being attacked by the Karna and Duryodhana. So this is the Pushkarani. This is Mallikarjuna temple. See the beauty of Ardhanarishwara carved in a small temple nearby the tank. So we don't know who carved this sculpture. Artist name is not known, but most beautiful, most sensuous as a feminine gender has been represented. Quickly, yeah, the Lajja Gauri. Hope you might be having question. Lajja Gauri is one of the earliest mother goddess cult practiced in entire Deccan and South. It is a fertility goddess. Andhra Pradesh had a temple dedicated to Lajja Gauri near Nagarjun Konda. In Badami Chalukyas, a place called Naganatha Kolla, that the place which you are seeing here, this temple was probably dedicated to Lajja Gauri only. Now the sculpture is in Badami Museum. Yeah, we are going to see Badami. We have seen Badami, Pattadakal, the Aihole, and quickly Mahakuta. And before conclusion of the present day class, without showing the sculptures of or architectural beauty of Virupaksha, I think it would be incomplete. So Virupaksha, Mallikarjuna, two premier temples, but there are 7-8 temples spread in the Pattadakal. See the plan of the entire temple. Jambulinga to Gadaganatha, Sangameshwara, Kasi Vishweshwara, Tarappa, Mallikarjuna, Virupaksha, and Papanatha. Papanatha is Papanatha cannot be shown in the plan. It's quite far away from the present premises. You can you have to agree because the Virupaksha temple premises is the largest and temple itself is also largest. So the temples were built by the queens of King Vikramaditya, the Loka Mahadevi and Trailokya Mahadevi, to commemorate the victory over Nandivarma II of Pallava dynasty, 734-35. See, this is the general view of Virupaksha. You can see the sculptors have experimented the best of the Shiva sculptures here. Whether it is a dancing Shiva, whether it is a Lingodbhava, whether it is a something else. So the artists were also like a Tribhuvana, Anivaritachari Gunda. Some of these artists like a Sarva Siddhya Acharya, these were well-known sculptors who worked in the Virupaksha as well as other temples there. See the the Ravana lifting Kailash. See the beauty of see his feet. Because of the weight, it has crushed into the, because of the weight of the Kailasha, it has crushed into the, or it has been struck into the sand or the earth. This type of realism we never ever come across in the history of the Indian sculpture. Even no Chalukyas, later Chalukyas, no Hoysalas. They become very ornate, that's it. But the aesthetic value, what we call, become more predominant here. See, this is uh, Narasimha fighting Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu is being killed. See, Shiva as the master of Hiranyakashipu appears on the heavens. He witnesses. He witnesses the death of his own the Shishya. Because even Shiva was also tired of the atrocities that he would do there. Yeah. This is Jatayuvadha. Again, Virata Vishnu. Shiva. Look at his hairstyle. Shiva's hairstyle. See, these are the things. This is a Vinadhara Shiva. These are the things which have been adopted by the later Cholas in the Chola period for creating the bronze sculptures. Even the headdress, the matted hair, the body, slenderous body, etc. These are the fine specimens that influenced them. Yeah, look at the Vamana Trivikrama and Gajendra Moksha. And here is a Shiva offering crescent moon to Parvati. Kumara Sambhava has this beautiful narrative because once they both fell in love, probably they were dating before marriage. If you read, I am putting in a modern context day analysis. So Shiva naturally he's a poor man. He's not a rich. So Parvati comes from a very rich family. He might have aspired to give something to her. What would he give other than a crescent moon to please his beloved? He removes the crescent moon. You can see the detail, fine detail of the crescent moon. He is trying to, bring her towards him and try to adore her with the crescent moon. Yeah, these are the again wall sculptures. Surya, it is done by of the eastern portico. Yeah, interior. Mallikarjuna. Now we go to Papanatha. Papanatha temple has Ramayana narratives inscribed with the characters of the Ramayana. You can notice various subjects. Then we are into Galaganatha temple, probably one of the best Nagara Shikhara temple in the entire Deccan or South. Unfortunately, the facade, the facade portion has been dilapidated, but you can see the circumambulation. It has less adored temple, less sculptures, but the temple as a style is one of the best examples of the Indian history. Yeah, Kashi Vishveshwara. It is believed that it is a transition from Badami Chalukya to the Rashtrakuta. But temple style, sculptural themes continue from the Badami Chalukya only. This is Girija Kalyana, Ramana lifting Kailash, and this is Bhagavata Kathas. And this is a Jaina Narayana temple. This is pure Rashtrakuta structure built by Kanti Durga. So here ends my presentation. Reddy Garu, if you can take questions, I don't mind.
Yes. Okay, those who have questions can raise your hand. Session is open for questions. Participants?
I gave a link to Ellora Kailashanatha temple, a rear view.
Okay.
I took this picture early morning, about 8 years ago. It's around 5:30 early morning. It's again a majestic structure, monolithic structure, continued the Chalukyan style. So those who want to study Rashtrakuta, you have to visit Ellora. Same thing with the Badami Chalukya also.
Yes, Balaji.
I know he would be galloping to ask.
Thank you, sir. Just one question. I know the Pallavas and Chalukyas were almost like the same time, and they had 3 wars. But I want to understand one thing. The Ravanfadi cave, can we attribute that as those caves? That cave is before the Mahishamardini cave or Ganesha cave in Mahabalipuram. That's question number 1.
Okay.
And question number 2. Can we say the Shore temple of Pallava is slightly earlier to the temple complex in Pattadakal?
Number 1 is all the Chalukya rock cut temples undoubtedly at least 30 to 50 years prior to any of the Pallava rock cut temples.
Right.
That is clearly not my argument. It is great KV Soundararajan Sahib's what I would say a kind of a judgment. Okay. You know who is KV Soundararajan? Balaji. I think my
Yes, audible, sir.
Yes.
KV Soundararajan was one of the doyen of the South Indian archaeologist who passed away last decade, has done exceptionally wonderful work on Badami Chalukya as well as Pallava. Okay, it is his judgment. And I do agree, Ravanfadi cave was completed probably by about 560. And same time, cave number 1 in Badami was undergoing. 578, there is a culmination of cave 3. That is a magnum opus of the rock-cut temples of the southern part of India. No doubt in it. If one need to see cave 3 from various angles, not just from the mega sculptures or details of the sculpture, it is a best example of the socio-cultural and political thing we can really learn from it. And secondly, Shore temple date is also uncertain. We have no comprehensive date for the Shore temple. It was excavated by and identified as a Shiva temple, also identified as a temple dedicated to Ananta Padmanabha. There is no unanimity among the Tamil sculptures, the historians also. I visited the Shore temple at least 5-6 times in last 20-25 years. I have made my observation. The temple can be safely placed somewhere around in between 700 to 730 CE. That is my take. Yes. Anything?
Yes, anyone else?
Second, if I can ask one more question.
Okay.
Yes, well.
The destruction of Badami, Aihole, Pattadakal, is it attributed to the Deccan Sultanate or it is attributed to Malik Kafur's journey down south? What is your verdict on that?
I better not speak on that particular point.
Okay.
Sir, sir, unmute.
Okay.
Yes.
You, Balaji, you've been to Javagallo, right? Hello?
Balaji.
No, sir. No.
Somanathpura?
Somnathpura, yes.
Have you seen the faces of the sculptures of Somanathpura?
Yes.
How are they?
Somnathpura, you mean the primary deities, right?
All the sculptures on the wall are places like Nuggehalli. You've been to Nuggehalli also, I know.
Yeah.
See, the faces of the sculptures have been defaced with
Defaced. Yeah.
fitting on the stone using the another stone. Okay.
Right.
We don't have evidence whether Deccan Sultanates or Malik Kafur did this. Same thing in the case of Badami Chalukya also. See, Badami and my region had gone through a very serious political restlessness in about pre-independence India.
Yeah.
So it was under the, before Tipu Sultan, it was under the Adil Shahis, and afterwards it came under the Peshwas and then Tipu Sultan. Okay, so then it goes to British. So afterwards, up to independence India, it was under the control of the British. All repair works took place by the British officers. So majority of the photographs which we have today, dating back to 1856 onwards, categorically they show you how sculptures were still intact at some place and how they are being destroyed. You can understand who might have destroyed the sculptures.
Yes, anyone else? Any other question? If there are no questions, we can wind up.
Prashnatita.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Balaji has again raised
No,
his.
let him ask afterwards.
Okay, right.
Becomes,
You can post your questions to Professor Kulkarni sir directly to his email ID in case there are too many, Balaji. If there are no questions from other participants, I think I will close it here. Professor Raghavendra S. Kulkarni, you have been really humble in accepting our invitation and sharing your immense knowledge on Chalukya as well as Hoysala architecture. It was a great, immersion into the architecture from your side and from participant side also. I thank you from the IITTM fraternity and also all the participants.
Thank you, Reddy Garu, for your institution and bringing me on this platform and also getting to know many people in the field. Thank you very much. So all the best. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I request participants to hold on for 5 to 10 minutes. Participants, please stay back for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. So this is the end of the certificate, online certification course for 3 days, 6 sessions. This is only level 1. We have level 2 coming up maybe in a fortnight after 15 days time. Certificates will be sent to your email IDs that you have shared with us. If there is any problem with your email IDs, you can post me. A PDF format of the certificate will be sent to you. please check your name, double check your name. There should not be any spelling errors, because once we send a certificate, correction of certificate will take time. So don't make that mistake. I have sent a link. I have posted a link there, Google Forms link. Fill it up. In case someone has not paid the fee, you can very well pay. There is no issue with regard to that. But those who have attended the sessions will only be given certificates. You can, they should have at least attended 4 sessions, a minimum of 4 sessions. Otherwise, certificates for those who have attended less than 4 sessions will not be given. We have the record of attendance. So as per that, we shall be posting you your certificates. Quickly, I would like to take feedback from at least 5 members. If anybody is interested to give feedback, but feedback should be very crispy, should not take more than 1 minute. Please raise your hand. Please raise your hand if you would like to give feedback. Okay. Shanta Kumar would like to give his feedback. Please, Shanta Kumar, unmute yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Please, sir.
Reddy Garu, it was a very good experience, because we are the tour guides. We visit all the places in southern part of India, but we doesn't know the more important things are there in the monument. We are looking only the outside beauty, and now we got it. What is the inside and the history of the monument? So thankful to all IIMT and the professor. Thank you.
Welcome. Vinayaka, please unmute yourself.
Hello, so can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I just can't believe the 3 days like just fly away, and the informations that we received was really informative, and I really appreciate your concern, sir, and all the institution also of IIT Nellore, that giving such a great opportunity to youngsters like me to learn more about our Indian history and our architecture, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, Vinayaka. Thanks a lot. Mr. Peter, please go ahead. Unmute yourself. Mr. Peter. Unmute yourself, sir. Mr. Peter.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Hello. Thank you, sir. It was a very, very informative session, which we would always look forward to in future, also having such sessions. And it was great knowledge given to us all through you, by all the professors. And it was a great experience, because of what we learn or what we have learned through other guides, or being a guide, or we want to become a guide, is totally through only books or through a word of mouth. But today, what we've gone through all these sessions of classes is really, I think, hats off to you guys for doing this. And I'm very, very grateful and thankful to you for giving us this, your valuable time and this great platform.
Thank you, Mr. Peter.
Welcome, sir.
Ashoka, please unmute, sir. Okay, sir, go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Please go ahead.
Okay, impressive. Today evening also sections are
Yes.
they show that. So I don't say, but such a nice program you did. So
There should be. There seems to be.
For you.
Okay. Okay. There seems to be some, network issue. Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone else? Okay. Raina, unmute yourself.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, Raina.
First of all, I would like to thank Sanjeev sir for giving us the opportunity to be a part of this great and informative session. And we are glad to learn and know more about this. And I would also like to thank the experts for giving us such a wonderful information. And thank you, sir. And we are ready and we are very excited for the upcoming sessions as well. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Rani. That's so nice of you. Anyone else? Okay. Yes, anyone else? Okay, I think I shall call it a day there. Thank you one and all. Thank you for participating and also having some patiently listening to the experts. There is one more person. Ramesha would like to say something. Yes, Ramesha.
Sir.
Yes, please speak out. Unmute, sir. Ramesh. Unmute, Madi. Hello? Ramesha. Unmute yourself.
Hello, sir.
Yes. It's audible. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please. Go ahead. It's audible.
Okay, sir. So thank you very much, sir. It's very good because as a tour guide, get more information from the, especially, scholars.
Thank you.
So when is level 2 starts, sir? After 15 days?
Time, sir. We'll take 10 to 15 days time.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Basit. Is Basit there? Mr. Basit? Okay. Thank you. Some of them have texted their feedback. Thank you all. Take care. Please don't go outside your home unless it is very much pressing and necessary, because we are still under the attack of COVID, and wish that very soon we'll be walking freely and traveling across the country. Thank you. Thank you, one and all. Jai Hind.